Hey everybody, it's Brent in Central Arkansas. I'm about to do a series of videos where I redo this deck behind me. I had built it about maybe 10 years or so ago, and now through all that time it's beginning to fall apart in places. In fact, the wife and I both have stepped through it in a couple different places. I'll show you some of the bad areas, but I figured I'd take this opportunity for those of you who like to do stuff yourself. You may not be an expert. Maybe you go online, you figure out how to do something like I do, and then you give it a go, because why? In the case of this deck, you can save thousands of dollars in labor without much skill set, without much knowledge. In fact, I don't even know what some of this stuff is called. I don't know what some of the tools are called. I don't know what some of the boarding, how it goes together and all that's called, but that's not the point. The point is, if you study, if you try to do things yourself, a lot of times you'll be successful. And if not, it's a learning experience, and it's a skill you've obtained. So I'm going to take you along with me for this build of this redoing of this deck, and we'll see how it goes. You'll get to see with me. It's Brent. Part of why we're going to change out a lot of these boards, even though they could probably be reused, are for this reason. I had put a stain with a little bit of paint into it, and it just really went crappy on me. It just, you can see here where it's flaked up after a while, and I'm not going to make that mistake again. But I'm not going to go through all the pain of trying to strip this down deep enough to where stain, which is what I'm going to use next time, a pure stain, will make it look even throughout the whole thing. So all of these have to come out. The same with these boards here. You can see what it used to look like here. So that is all got to come out. Coming up over here on the deck, you can see some dark areas. You got them here. And when it goes really dark like that, you can pretty much guarantee that there's a good possibility you're going to step through that. Certainly you will, like I did here. Rotten. And you got mold. It's gotten into the cracks and all that, and it is not doing well. So that's got to go. Part of what I need to do to get the deck a little better managed is, you see all that dark spot there? That's because of rain hitting from the gutter right there. There's a leak right there. And so I have to put new gutters up so this doesn't happen again. Plus, I don't want it dripping, I want it as dry as possible. More weak areas. Bad area right there. You even have pieces on this little structure I made here. Copied that. They had a metal version of that in Lowe's one year when I built this. The same year I built this deck, and so I copied it and made it out of wood. I thought it was really neat. That's got to come out because of the paint. The paint slash stain, whatever that mix was called. So obviously the chairs and tables are still great, still functioning very well. Everything is not, there's no rotten or bad pieces or anything. Still very good furniture for outside on the deck. Another thing I want to do is this siding is very faded. I put the siding on the house too. I did a lot of stuff in the house. I've done these sort of things over the years, and when we built the house, I wanted to save a lot of money, and I did tens of thousands of dollars by doing a lot of it myself. And one of the things I did was the siding, and it needs to be repainted or more siding added. I'm not sure which I'm going to do yet. We will see with that, but it certainly cannot remain as it is. When I did the greenhouse giveaway, I did some of the work back here because I knew this decking was going. But you can see a weak area here. I love the table concept. I get quite a lot of use of it for all kinds of things. But I think what I'm going to do next time after I do this build is I'm going to build one with a sink and some other things, and make it a utility table on the deck that matches it. And I'll probably also put in some benches along the edge. At least I like this area right here. across here where you can sit. Of course, the eating area is still going to be over there. That's my actually morning coffee area. Oh, so this project is going to be something really, really in-depth to get into, but I'll share it with you, and I'll try to keep the videos to 5 or under total and speed through some of it for you. Follow along. If you can get some great ideas out of it, go for it. Give it a shot yourself. Okay, we're going to start by taking the railing out. And I'm going to do this area here first, and then the other area up there where the tables are and whatnot second. So let's get busy taking these rails out. Installed these rail posts with lag bolts, and after 8 to 10 years now, they're pretty difficult to get out, and it could be back-breaking work to try to do this by hand. So I'm giving you a little tip here. This is a piece of 3/4 inch PV or EMT, and you can use it as a braking bar by sliding it on and going out to the farthest edge and using leverage to your benefit. It makes it a lot easier to turn the ratchet. Just a little tip. We've got most of the railing undone. These lag bolts are actually out, but it's holding up the steps from now, so I'm leaving that in. And this one has got the power hook up to it for what used to be the RV pad parked here, and that needs to be moved over to the new carport. But other than that, everything else has been removed, and we're making progress. The first thing I'm going to do, I think, is redo this area right here, the lower level, and then I'll move the patio or the deck furniture onto here so I can work on the rest. As you can see, I'm taking it apart, and some of the pattern, well, let me take you back up, show you. Some of the pattern that I did is, you know, obviously novice. You could see the way they finish here, terminate, and the way they hook together and all that just isn't very attractive, so I'm going to remedy that. First time building a big deck like this 10 years ago. I'm going to remedy that, and I'm going to do a fishbone pattern, and I'll show you a little picture of what the fishbone pattern looks like here. And then I'm going to do the fishbone pattern on that first. We'll see how that looks. So that's it for now. I need to get these decking boards off and see what the substructure looks like. Yeah, you can see that I've got a lot of the boards up on the lower deck. And this is probably going to be a little more intensive than I suspect. I didn't think a lot of these big boards like this one here would be as rotted. So I'm anticipating more on the other portions of the deck as well. So we're going to have to rebuild a good portion of this deck from the bottom up. But you got to do what you got to do. This is the first video in the series on rebuilding your deck.